and welcome back to Hill and Ponton's VA Disability Blog. I'm Natalia Joffrey, the company COO.
And I'm attorney Melanie Williams.
So today we're going to be talking about the top 8 reasons why the VA denies a claim.
Yes.
It's a lot of reasons.
Yes.
Okay. Melanie, do you want to give us a rundown of the top 8 reasons?
Absolutely. So obviously there are lots and lots of reasons. We just kind of picked the main 8 ones that we see. So first is there are 3 elements to establish service connection. If you're not able to establish each of those 3 benefits, the VA will deny you.
Okay.
So the first is the in-service event or incident that happened. The second is your current condition or diagnosis. The third is providing a link or a nexus between that condition and what happened in service.
Okay.
Fourth reason, if you miss your CMP exam, the VA will deny you. Fifth, if your doctor provides an opinion, they provide that nexus opinion, but the VA doesn't believe them, they'll deny you.
Okay.
If you don't know what evidence the VA is looking at to decide your claim, that's a reason to deny you. You want to make sure that you look at that.
Right.
Also, if you miss an appeal deadline, that claim is closed.
Automatic.
And if you file on the wrong form, the VA will deny you as well.
Wow. It almost looks like look for reasons to deny you. It's easy, right? Because they are getting thousands upon thousands of claims flooding in.
Right.
And so rubber stamping denials is just almost an easy way to clear cases out,
Yes.
get them off their desk, and filter down to the ones that checked all the right boxes and crossed their T's and dotted their I's. And
Correct.
now these are the ones we're going to look at.
Yes, exactly.
So let's you and I get a little bit more into it.
Okay. Yeah.
So the first reason was didn't have enough proof for the veteran's injury or incident in service.
Yes, exactly. So you want to start with if something happened to you in service that's causing your current disability, you have to prove that that happened. The VA won't just take your word for it.
Okay.
So the first way that you want to prove that is through your service records. So you'll want to request your claims file, that's your C file. That's going to be the first place that you can find your service records. In there are your medical records, performance evaluations, things like that that'll help show or establish what it was that happened that caused your condition.
And I know sometimes even just showing where you were is almost a big cornerstone of proving your service-connected disability. Because, for example, if you were boots on the ground in Vietnam during a certain period of time, we know you came into contact with Agent Orange.
Exactly.
Right. So that in of itself, just establishing where you were and when could be a part of that.
Correct. Yes, yes. And if that's not in your service records or in your claims file, you can also try requesting it from the National Personnel Records Center. If you write to them, that's another avenue in which you can find your service records.
Okay.
You can also try looking at branch records, or you can even look online and see if you can find records for the ship that you were on, or the base that you were on, or the unit you were in. Sometimes veterans also find those online.
Okay.
So you'll want to just do what you can, do the research that you can to see if in your records you can prove what it is that you're claiming.
Okay. And because I know that some of our own clients watch these, obviously, if we're representing you, we obtain all of these.
Absolutely.
We obtain your C file. We obtain these, this proof of your in-service.
Yes,
and
we go through everything really thoroughly to see what we can find. Sometimes, however, if it's not in your service records, either they can't find the records or what you're claiming, a lot of times veterans don't like to go to the doctor when they're in service because that's almost frowned upon. So, if you hurt your back or you're experiencing any kind of issues, maybe you didn't go to sick call. So what you can do in that case is get what we call buddy statements. So if someone that served with you, you're still in contact with them, or you know their name and can contact them, you can ask them to write a statement basically saying that they know you, how long they know you, talking about what they witnessed or what they know happened to you in service.
Yeah, I was there the day he fell off of the ladder, and I saw him, and he grabbed his leg and it hurt, and he ended up laying in bed for 3 days, and then they put him back on light duty. All of these things that we so often see omitted from the actual service records, right?
Yes.
Just because you didn't go to the doctor or whatever.
And the VA is supposed to give that weight and credit and take it into consideration so that you can establish what it was that happened to you in service.
Wow, great. Okay, do you want to go over reason number 2?
Yes.
All right, so we talked about veterans that, the VA says the veteran doesn't have a disability.
Yes.
Just doesn't exist.
Yes.
Okay.
So you want to make sure that your doctors know that you have a diagnosis, an actual condition that you're suffering from or struggling with. So, if you just have one day you have back pain and you decide to file a claim and then you're totally fine after that, that's not a condition that you're going to be able to claim.
Okay.
Same thing if you file for Agent Orange.
Mm-hmm.
Agent Orange is not a condition. It's something that causes other conditions. So you want to specify what diseases like diabetes or what it is that you're suffering from because of the Agent Orange.
Yeah.
Same thing, a lot of veterans claim MST, which stands for military sexual trauma.
Mm-hmm.
You'll want to specify that you have PTSD or depression or anxiety due to that MST.
Due to that event.
Exactly.
And so once again, it's about getting the diagnosis. I'm so glad that you clarified the Agent Orange, because we've even had people say, I have Agent Orange, or I've had Agent Orange. Agent Orange was a chemical that you were exposed to. And as a result of that exposure, you then ended up with these medical conditions.
Yes.
So just being there and having been exposed, you need to then prove what particular condition it caused.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anything else about that?
No.
Okay. So reason number 3, the VA says that your condition is not related to service.
Yes. So what often happens is you will go to a C&P exam or a compensation and pension examination.
Mm-hmm.
There, a VA doctor will examine you and they will provide an opinion basically saying if they think that what happened to you in service is causing your current disability.
Uh-huh.
So if they say no, they don't think it's related, the VA will deny you. So what you want to do is have your own doctor, either your treating doctor or even getting an outside independent medical opinion. That's something that we do in our cases to basically provide, a thorough account of what service records they looked at, what treatment records they looked at, and to see how what happened in service has affected your current disability.
I think that sometimes people get confused when we say a service-connected disability. They think, for example, something can be very clear-cut, right? You stepped on a mine, you lost a life. Obviously, that's very clear-cut. But sometimes just being in service could mean you were in service, you were driving your car, you had a car accident, and you ended up with 3 herniated discs in your neck.
Yes.
That is still service connected.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to mean that you were in an act of war or in battle or, defending someone or something. It's not like, I even want to say like workers' compensation, because people's minds go there. Right. As long as this injury or ailment occurred while you were in service, that's considered service connected, right?
Yes, exactly. While you are on active duty, anything that happens to you, you can get service connected for. It doesn't matter if, you were at a friend's house at the time or if you were on your base. Mm-hmm. If you're considered active duty, that counts.
Okay. All right. Great. Number 4, the VA says the veteran did not show up for their C&P exam. Oof.
Yes, that is crucial. So again, when you file a claim, the VA is going to try to set you up for a C&P exam.
Right.
If you don't go to that exam, the VA will deny you.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes what happens is the VA won't send you notice of the exam. Mm-hmm. And so you find out about it after it happened, or maybe the day of the exam.
Right.
In that case, you want to write to them and let them know, I didn't have notice of the exam, so I couldn't have gone.
Right.
Other times you'll get notice ahead of time. Usually that's what's supposed to happen. They'll schedule it and you'll know when it is. Mm-hmm. If you can't make it that day, either, you have surgery scheduled or they set you an appointment in Texas and you live in, Florida or something. That happens too. Yeah. You'll want to write to them and let them know that, you can't make the appointment. Mm-hmm. It needs to be rescheduled, and they should follow up and do that.
And it should be a good reason, right? Like you said, you have surgery scheduled. You have a barbecue scheduled. That's not going to go. I mean, but truly, like when we get these calls sometimes and it's like, it needs to be a really important, valid reason why you can't go.
Right.
And it's so sad, right? To see someone's claim denied just because they didn't keep a C&P exam.
Right.
If they get denied and it was because they didn't keep the C&P exam, so let's say it's already passed. So now they've already been denied and the veteran says, I didn't know about the exam and that's why I didn't go. Do they have recourse at that point?
Yes, absolutely. So you do want to write to them and let them know why you missed the exam and what happened, and you'll want to file an appeal and make sure that you have everything within the deadline. And that's another reason that the VA might deny you if you miss a deadline. So when they issue a rating decision, you have 1 year from that date to appeal. If you don't appeal within that deadline, your claim is closed, and that's it. It's done.
You can never file another claim for that again?
You can. It's just, you'll basically lose your effective date. So when you refile a new claim, it starts from that date. So it won't go back to the original date of the claim that you filed.
So you're losing benefits.
Exactly. You're losing the back pay that you would be getting.
Okay. Oh, I'm glad you clarified that.
Yes.
Okay. Number 5, the VA doesn't believe your doctor.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that happens because sometimes you'll go to your doctor and you'll say, hey, I need something for my VA claim. And they write, I think this is related to Agent Orange. That's not going to be enough. So you're going to want the letter or the report that the doctor writes to be thorough. You'll want to provide them a copy of your C file so they can review it. They don't have to review all, 2,000 pages, but at least the relevant portions of the claims file. They'll want to use the relevant VA language. So the language that the VA looks for is, it is at least as likely as not. That's the language that the doctors want to include. And most importantly, they'll want to provide a rationale. So they can't just state their opinion and, the VA is not going to believe them just because they said it.
Right.
They'll need to give an explanation for why they believe that. They'll want to consider, other factors that they may have looked at and why they think that this condition is related to what happened to you in service.
Okay. I love that you mentioned that phrase because I know that that's very big in VA and that's basically the benchmark in order to qualify.
Exactly.
Can you say again? It's at least
as likely as not.
Can you explain a little bit more on that, kind of expand on that?
Right. So it basically means it's a 50-50 chance or 50-50 probability that the condition is due to what happened in service. So if it's at least as likely as not. So, if it's more likely that it didn't happen, then that doesn't count. You won't get granted. If it's most likely that it happened, then you're good.
Okay.
But even if the doctor thinks, there's a chance that it's not connected, but there's an equally good chance that it is connected, that's 50-50, that counts.
And that counts in your favor.
Yes, exactly.
Perfect. Okay. You don't know what evidence the VA used to decide your claim.
Yes. So that's the reason why you'll want to request your claims file from the VA.
Right.
That's the file that the VA keeps on you. It has all of your records, anything you've ever filed since your discharge. So the reason you want to request that is because if you submitted something to the VA, a statement or records or treatment records, and if the VA didn't receive that, they may deny your claim because of that. So you want to look and see what evidence did they base their decision on.
Right.
What were they looking at to consider your claim? Because if something that you submitted wasn't in there, that's probably why it got denied.
Right, and then that's in your favor, and then you would use that in your appeal. Make sure that it gets in.
Exactly.
Okay, great. The veteran missed a deadline. That's really unfortunate, and that's sort of what you were talking about earlier, right? In terms of missing an appeal.
Right.
So just to reiterate, 1 year?
Right. 1 year from the date of the rating decision to get your appeal in. And again, if you don't do that, you can refile. It's not like it's done forever. You can refile. It's just that you're missing out on the back pay that you would be getting from that original effective date from when you first filed your claim.
One of the issues that I see, and obviously we're a law firm, so I can speak to this. People will call us, or you'll get a decision and you're kind of like on the fence and you don't know yet if you want to appeal it or not, or you think, yes, I'm going to appeal it, but then you just hang on to it, and then you're contacting us, within 2 days of the deadline. This is not a good idea.
Right. That is not ideal.
Right.
It takes time to send something to the VA for them to process the paperwork. So you just want to try to avoid that as best as you can. And you even want time to give yourself time to consider which appeal option you're going to take, because there are several different forms that you can submit, ways that you can appeal. So you want to make sure that you have ample time to go through that and discuss it, with us as your attorney, or even if you're just going to figure it out on your own.
Right. Okay, great. Last one, the veteran used the wrong form. What a terrible reason to be denied.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in most cases, the VA should send you a notice letting you know, hey, you submitted the wrong form. This is the right form that you should submit it on.
Mm-hmm.
In some cases, that doesn't happen and they just deny.
Mm-hmm.
So that you know, the correct form, if you're filing a new claim,
Mm-hmm.
it's called a VA Form 526EZ.
Okay.
That's when you're filing a new claim. If you're submitting a claim for an increased rating, or something that you've claimed before but were denied and the claim was closed, you'll want to file what's called a supplemental claim. That's the VA Form 0995.
Okay.
Now, there are also instances where they ask you to submit more information, and if you don't submit that information, they'll deny it.
Okay.
So, for example, if you file a claim for PTSD, they will ask you to tell them what your stressor is. So what it was that happened that caused your PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
There's a specific form that they will ask you to fill out. If you don't fill out that form, they'll deny you.
Oh.
So the form, basically, you'll just state, where you were when it happened, the date ranges, what it was that happened. And so from that form is where they will do their duty in looking into the stressor and see what happened. But without that form, they can't move forward. So they'll deny you from there.
Okay. Great. Wow, this was super helpful. Thank you, Melanie. If you have any questions in the meantime, please feel free to visit our website, call our office, but we'll keep talking about more VA topics here sometime soon. And we hope you'll join us.
Thank you.